Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 77 of the Layton Fitness Podcast. Now, in today's episode, I want to discuss a question I recently received, and I briefly discussed this within a Instagram video, but I think I wanted to go into a lot more depth and detail, and there's a real message behind this particular question. So the question was along the lines of they're currently tracking their calories and macronutrients, so they're already tracking their food intake, and then they've decided to use an online calculator to calculate their calories and macronutrients. And there's about a 400 calorie difference between what they're consuming now and what the calculator suggested. And their question to me was what they should do. Should they follow the calculator or just continue consuming the same food intake they'd previously been eating? And my response was to continue eating the same calories and macronutrients you have done previously, because you have unequivocal data of how your body is responding to these figures. Now it's just a case of putting these in place over a period of time, measuring your progress, and then making changes to these calories or macronutrients and or your training subject to your progress. And this just raises such a key point that I think people still can't grasp, and that is this concept that your calories and macronutrients are a moving target, i.e., what you require now at the start of a fat loss phase will be different than what you require in 8, 10, 12 weeks of dieting. And as such, it's critical just to realize that you need to constantly be changing these figures and or your training subject to progress. In addition to that, with regards to the calories and macronutrient calculators, it's also important to point out that these are great tools for people that aren't already tracking their food intake, because they can give you a estimate daily calorie and macronutrient target. You can put that in place, you can measure your progress, and then you can make changes upon that. But if you're already tracking your food intake, you already have unequivocal data. So therefore, this is where the calorie and macronutrient calculators wouldn't really be necessary within this specific context. Now, if you know that you're way off with your current daily calorie and macronutrient targets, it might be a useful thing just to use an online calculator. But for the most part, if you're already tracking your food intake, you already know how your body is responding to these figures, then it's a case of just measuring your progress and then making changes subject to your progress. And I want to give you a couple of good examples. So within a fat loss phase, when I say you're putting something in place, measuring your progress, and then making changes, i.e., when you reach a fat loss plateau, this is your cue to make a change. If you're following, say, 2,000 calories and you reach a plateau and you don't achieve that 0.5 to 1% weight loss per week, this is your cue to either decrease calories and or increase expenditure from cardio. Weight training will stay as the foundation of your routine to maintain lean muscle mass within the fat loss phase. Protein will stay constant, and it'll be carbohydrates and fats being reduced. Now, within a muscle building phase, the opposite is true. If you reach a plateau, protein is going to stay the same. You're increasing calories from carbohydrates and fats, mainly carbohydrates, because carbohydrates will help to allow you to perform better in the gym, i.e., gym performance will improve, e.g., things like strength will improve by increasing carbohydrates. So that was the main point of this podcast, is just to appreciate that your calories and macronutrients are not a static figure. You need to appreciate that these will be changing depending on your progress. In addition to that, even though the online calculators are a great tool, it's important to realize the limitations. And if you're already tracking your food intake, regardless of what the calculator said, continue doing what you're already doing and then make changes upon those figures. In addition to that, if you're not already tracking your food intake and then you start implementing the calories and macronutrients you've calculated from a calculator, appreciate these are not magic figures. These also needed to be edited subject to your progress. So just appreciate that is such a key point, and so few people realize this, because people like to have black and white answers. They like to know these are my daily macronutrient and calorie targets. This is what I need to stay on forever. No, you need to manipulate these depending on your progress. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that hasn't confused anyone, and start applying this principle. Start either manipulating your calories and macronutrients and or your training subject to your progress, And or if you're not already tracking your food intake, start doing this now, start measuring your progress, and then start making manipulations subject to your progress. So hopefully you found this useful. If you're still yet to download my free ebook, How to Set Up a Nutrition Plan, you can download this from my website, jameslaytonfitness.co.uk, Layton. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. Take care.